Well, it is high noon, and I am at the site where Oswell Swann lived. It is at the corner of Cracklingtown Road, that's the road in front of me, and Burnt Store Road, which is the road going across this way. And his property was this corner. Right now there is stables there and a fence, and I don't know how big his property was, whether he even owned it outright, probably not, or rented it. This would have been the location where he lived. So, aside from Dr. Mudd's, the other places that I've shown you today are really approximate routes that they take, that Booth and Herold took. But we know that this is the next stop they made. We know that officially. And I'm going to read you Oswell Swann's statement that he made about that. Now, Oswell Swann also has many names. In some books he's Oscar, Oswald, Oswell, Aussie. His name has many variations. In fact, when they took down his statement, they put it down as Ozzy Swann, or with a A-U-S-Y. But it's all the same man. So it says, Ozzy Swann lives about 2 miles from Bryantown, Maryland. I know Samuel Cox. I met 2 men on Saturday night, April 15th, about 9 o'clock. These men asked me the way to William Birtle's. It was dark and could not see their faces. I was on foot when they asked. They told me to get my horse and show them the way. They asked me if I had any whiskey. I gave them some bread. They offered me $2 to take them to Mr. Birtle's. Before I got to Birtle's, they asked me if I could take them to Captain Cox. If so, they would give me $5 more. One was a small man, the other was a lame man and had a crutch. The small man said the other man broke his leg. I saw it was the left leg that was broken. When they got to Cox, they rode off. It was near midnight. Cox came out with a candle. He said, "How do you do?" They went inside and remained 3 or 4 hours. I stayed outside. When they came out, they were alone. Cox did not come out with them. The small man went some little distance when the lame man called and said, "Don't you know I can't get on?" The small man then came and helped. The small man told me to put my hand under his fork and lift him up, which I did. One said when they were mounting, "I thought Cox was a man of southern feeling." They did not come out of the gate as far as I saw. The gate is about 1/4 of a mile from Cox's house. Before they got to Cox's, the small man said, "Don't you say anything. If you tell that you saw anybody, you will not live long." I saw nothing more of them. I got back home, which is 12 miles from Cox's, about sunrise. In all, they paid me $12. And that is the statement of Oswald Swann. And we know that there is truth in that because what I read to you back at Cantor's from Davy Herold talk about how he got whiskey and bread from a darky who lived near Bryantown. Now we are... There we go. So we are actually more south of Bryantown than we are we're southeast of Bryantown. So we are here. Now, Oswald Swann, so they paid him money, and he ferried them, well, he showed them the way, so he would take this road down to this little fork, and then he would have taken them across the swamp. Now, here was a road that went through the swamp, Centerville Road, which is currently Route 6, and he would have taken them across there, then to Newtown, Belle Alton Newtown Road today, took them south, and then took them to Rich Hill. So, like he said, it was 12 miles from his place here to Rich Hill. I'm not walking that today. Maybe I'll do it some other time. But now, Ossie Swann was put into prison, but he was the main one to show that Samuel Cox did help them. However, it was this former slave of Samuel Cox, Mary Swann, who is not related to Oswald, who claimed that no, Booth and Herold never entered the house, and that's what kept Samuel Cox from getting in further trouble. But this is the location of where Oswald Swann lived, and where Booth and Herold came in order to get help. Now, at first, Oswald Swann said they wanted to go to William Birtle's. William Birtle's is pretty much, if I'm facing this way, so right now I'm facing east. Yes, I'm facing east. It would be directly behind me. William Birtle's is not very far directly going back this way. William Birtle's was a Southern sympathizer and a member of the Confederate Underground, but he wasn't very far. I have a map here. Let me bring it out real quick. So at first, they're like, "Can you take us to William Birtle's?" And probably when they realized how close they were to Birtle's place, they changed their mind. So Here's a hand-drawn map that James Earl Hall did. So here we are where Swann is on a motorcycle, and then Bertle's place was here, and then instead they decided to go further. So that is why we are here, to where Oswald Swann's house once was. And so now I'm going to continue walking down the road, and then I'll surprise you where I end up.